So what's going on, YouTube, man? We back at it with another one, man. Today, man, we're gonna be working on vocals similar to Quando Rondo, somewhat similar. Give them like somewhat the same type of mix. So that being said, man, we're gonna get straight to it. Just go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's see what we got.
Traumatized, permanently changed after your partners die. Mamas cry, tears all in their face because of homicide. Dollar signs.
Crazy mix, man. We dug into this one. I said we dug into it. We dug into this one. So for the first thing, you know what we gotta do. We got to listen to it the way it was sent to me, just to see what we was working with. You know what I'm saying?
Traumatized, permanently changed after your partners die. Mamas cry, tears all in their face because of homicide. Dollar signs. All I see is green and mean I'm colorblind. Real nigga, I don't think that I could be no other kind. Deal with her.
Not bad. Not bad at all. It was a lot going on. We ended up getting that situated. So the first thing that I went ahead and did, man, I went ahead and just turned down this beat by -2 dB. It was knocking a little too hard, but I still wanted that knock in it. Ended up bringing up auto key, which it says it's in E major and the 80 BPM. We got the 80 BPM, but we're gonna see what we got metal tune on. I believe, yeah, we used the metal tune for this song. Reason why I used metal tune was because the client already had metal tune on his vocals, so I ended up going, I think, with the same settings. I think I did. I just changed his key. I changed his key because he had it in the wrong key, but this was what it gave me. But you know, again, we might have used mixed in key like I did last time. Right, so for these type of vocals, again, I went with the Avalon. Again, I'm on an Avalon streak right now. I'm rocking with it, but very slight for these vocals, right? I ended up just pushing up 10K, but only probably like that 1.7 dB. Really no high mid pushing, just probably about another 1.7 dB, but at like 2K, 2.3K. We took a little bit of that low mid out, probably like a 0.5. And then we took some of that bass out also around that 60 hertz, which was probably about like -2. We did take out around, I say like 120 for a high pass, just to start off the vocal. And then for this vocal, I went ahead and brought up this SSL channel, and I did take out 120 hertz. Had the ratio to about 3.9. Probably meant to put it on 4, but it just ended up on 3.9. I got the threshold to about 5.5 and the release to about 1 second. So pretty much like medium. We got the hold to about 2.6, the threshold to about 10, -10 dB. I'm in the range, and the release is pretty much turned all the way to the right with the expand on. Now I did want some clarity out of this vocal, a little bit more than what I got out of the Avalon. So I ended up just bringing up about 3 dB of the high frequencies to about 8K. And with that, this is what we have so far.
Traumatized, permanently changed after your partners die. Mamas cry, tears all in their face because of homicide.
Not bad, not bad. For it to be like the beginning of the mix, we did a lot. We really made his vocals kind of smooth pretty early. All right, so for the compressor, I had to use the L-Ray for these particular vocals. The L-Ray I know was going to bring it a nice shine, but still give it that energy that I was looking for. So I ended up just turning that input up to about 3 dB. I went ahead and took that threshold to about 27. And then I pretty much have like a medium attack and a slow release. That's kind of how I like to use the L-Ray, particularly for my style of mixing. And I got the makeup gain to about 3 on dB also. We got a filter about 30, so it's just not really messing with the real low end of the frequency and whatnot. And we didn't touch anything with the deep amplify. Other than that, that's all we did with the L-Ray. And I just went in and just took this gain station. I turned everything off besides the spread. I actually just put it in mono. I didn't really hear a big difference with this. I think I just took it all the way to the right and put it on mono. And then I went ahead and just touched this preamp. Now this preamp is pretty cool. I bought it more for the high end, but I ended up using the preamp. That's what I ended up using. So I ended up using the preamp for this vocal just to give it some of that like saturation type of feel, but very slight. It's just kissing it. It's really just sitting on the vocal. So with that, let's just hear what we have so far.
Traumatized, permanently changed after your partners die. Mamas cry, tears all in their face because of homicide. Dollar signs.
And then I did end up going with the Slate Digital mix track again, but I only just touched the FG Bomber. Again, if you watch my videos, you know FG Bomber is always gonna sit there, and this is at like 4%, nothing crazy. We do have this going up to about 1 dB though. Now of course, you know I'm going with my favorite de-esser. We got this in about 22, but we got the frequencies touching about 4K. I'm saying with the split, real easy de-esser, but it gives it that sauce. It gives it that flavor that I'm looking for every single time. So let's just give this a listen to see what those plugins did and where we actually are with the vocal now.
Traumatized, permanently changed after your partners die. Mamas cry, tears all in their face because of homicide. Dollar signs.
So one of my favorite compressors, that's like one of my go-to compressors, is going to be the UAD LA2 A. Ended up just taking that peak to about right under that 40 knob, and this is probably right above the 40 knob for the gain. And for my minor EQ that I just did with this vocal after I done did all that processing, was I ended up taking out about 1.6 dB. I'm around that 171 hertz, and then I did take out, well, 1.7 dB out of that 6300 hertz. Then after that, I just went ahead and used my soothe as kind of per usual type of thing, just to soothing out some of those harsh frequencies that I just wanted to clear up so it wasn't so harsh in the listener's ear, with another touch of gain station. Ended up turning off the preamp, the spread, and only touching the air to that 10K, and we're barely touching it, but again, I got it for this reason, so I was like, let me go ahead and still use it, but I'm using it in a different way. I just have two of them. I don't suggest that because the way I had to do my effects on this particular song, because this was so like heavy CPU, that for some reason the buses was delayed. Maybe it was just something I did wrong, I don't know, but I ended up just putting everything on a direct vocal and it came out great. Barely do it, but it's always workarounds, guys. It's always workarounds. So let's just hear what we have so far with just these plugins that we added to the vocal.
Traumatized, permanently changed after your partners died. Mamas cry, tears all in their face because of homicide.
All right, so for the delays, I ended up taking this wet knob to about 45%, took this feedback to about 40 and got it going on about a 1/4. I ended up touching this wider knob to about 50%, and I did take this high cut to about in the middle, about 1500. That's all I did with the comeback kit for the delay. And then for the reverb that I used for this vocal, I ended up just going with the deverb at 23%. Again, this is on the vocal itself. Then of course I had to go with my classic doubler, with my classic basic doubler preset, but then we ended up going with the stereo imager by SSL, which is great for these type of vocals because they sound so wide, they sound so like stereo, if that makes sense. So this was a perfect plugin for that scenario. All right, so with everything applied, let's see what we have.
Traumatized, permanently changed after your partners died. Mamas cry, tears all in their face because of homicide. Dollar signs.
And that's fire. And just to top it off, I did end up melodyning his main vocals. I didn't like the way it sounds, so I ended up just melodyning his vocals, getting everything together. So yeah, guys, man, I hope that this video helped you. If it did, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We're gonna be coming with more gems. Just let me know in the comments what you want and we'll get to it.
Traumatized, permanently changed after your partners died. Mamas cry, tears all in their face because of homicide. Dollar signs, all I see is green and mean I'm colorblind. Real nigga, I don't think that I could be no other kind. Deal with her.